Hey Truth Seekers, it's Nathaniel here with another deck profile. Today I will be covering Ezra, Faith, and Hope. Start off with Ezra has an effect. It says during your score phase, you may convert any Faith discard cost into a single Faith cost. Okay? So that way you don't have to discard your power cards when you activate them once per turn. Okay, so move these out of the way. Go into our power cards. We have 3 Faith. We have 3 Hope. And we have 3 Prayer. All right, there's no real special logic to this. It's just so I have 9 power cards in the deck. This is just a dual kind deck. So I don't need any power cards in my discard pile or specifically in my deck in order to use my effects. Although I do have Animo that interact with my power cards from my discard pile and my deck. I just need to get my power cards out there as soon as possible. Okay. Moving forward, we got our equipment cards. We have 2 Paul's Chains and 1 Scarlet Cord. So we have Paul's Chains. It says to whom this card is attached, it may not be activated, but may be discarded anytime during setup phase. Once per turn, as long as this card is attached to an animal in your small group, you may search your deck for up to 2 level 1 animal and place them in your small group. If there's no room in your small group, this card has no use. Scarlet Cord says the animal to whom this card is attached may either be returned to your hand or discarded from your small group at any time. During your setup phase, if you choose to discard it, you may search your deck for any Animo with an equal or lesser VP and place in your hand. This card must be discarded once this action is used. Scarlet Cord's pretty helpful for a couple other things that we're going to be doing with this deck. We have Paused Maws and Giant Killer. Paused Maws says, place this card in the active Cine spot or next to it if it's currently occupied. No opponent may reveal a Cine to you on their next turn. At the beginning of your next turn, remove this card as well as any other copies of Paused Maws from your hand, deck, or discard pile from the game. Giant Killer, let me search my deck for a Mega Cine and reveal it to my opponent. Or, while I'm facing a Mega Cine, I can force it, put it back in my opponent's, give it back to my opponent, have them shuffle it back in their deck. Then, we have 3 Peter's Visions. It allows you to search your deck for a level 1 Animo and exchange it with 1 Animo and all equipment attached to it from your small group. So basically, you shuffle level 1 back in your deck and you get you shuffle an Animo back in your deck and you get a level 1 in return. So that's pretty helpful. Next up, we have Splidapidator. Splidapidator has the action says when this card is revealed, your opponent must shuffle half of the Animo from their small group back in their deck, rounding up. We have Narcy. As the action says, your opponent must flip over 1 Animo in their small group. They may not activate it or grow that Animo on their next turn. Then we have Nash Tree. Nash Tree says any Animo and any cards attached that remain in your opponent's small group following their next turn must be shuffled back into their deck. Grumpro says as long as this Cine remains active, your opponent may have no more than 3 Animo in their small group at a time. If more than 3 Animo are in your opponent's small group, then this card is revealed. They must discard down to 3. Bob Bubble. Bob Bubble says, as long as this card remains active, your opponent may not have more than 1 Animo with the same name in their small group at a time. Our megas are Venomouth Mega, says your opponent may not activate any level 1 Animo on their next turn. Lorakai Mega, which says select 1 Animo in your opponent's small group and flip it over. As long as this Cine is active, that Cine may not be interacted with in any way. And Fearcrow Mega Plus. Action, your opponent may not play any cards from their hand on their next turn. So, what we have here is we have these cards mess with Animo in your opponent's small group. That's the logic behind these Cines. Moving forward, I have 2 Gut Piece. I have Gut Piece in the Faith and Hope deck because its ability says when it's played from my hand to my smaller group, I can search my deck for any Faith or Hope Animo and shuffle my deck afterwards. This is why we have Peter's Vision and Scarlet Cord. Scarlet Cord will allow me to return to my hand to play him or to discard him. And Peter's Vision will allow me to shuffle him back into my deck to reuse later on. This is my toolbox. I like it to use it to search for my level 2 Animos or level 3s and then grow them when I exchange them for the level 1 that I need. We have a total of 3 Love Animo in the deck. And they are Servitude, who once per turn I may draw 1 card for each Faith, Hope, or Holy Spirit Animo in my small group. Potpourri, who says as long as this card is in your small group, ignore any effects of actions from any Cines revealed to you. And Flow Ultra, which has the swap ability, says you may discard this card from your small group. If you do, search your deck for any 3 Animo, reveal them, and place them in your hand. Okay, moving on to our Hope Animo. We have 3 Schwimmer. Schwimmer has the action that says, search your deck for 1 standard power card, place it directly in your power pool. Schwimmer helps you get set up for the game. And then we got 2 Hightail. Hightail has the once per turn retreat ability. It says, if this card's in your hand, you may choose to reveal it to your opponent. Shuffle it back in your deck. If you do, draw 3 cards. Then, because this is a Hope and Faith deck, I have Fellowship bonuses. Glimmer level 1 says, or is a 1 for 2, but has a Fellowship for 1 for 5 when you activate with a Hope Faith Animo. Then, Glimmer level 2 is a 2 for 6 or a 2 for 10 if you activate it with a Faith Animo. Then we have Flamingro level 1. Flamingro level 1 is a 3 for 4, which isn't great value, but we're going to grow him into Flamingro level 2. Flamingro level 2 has the is a 2 for 9, but you shuffle 1 back. However, it has a Fellowship bonus for 12 if you activate with a Faith Animo. These are also the full art cards from the Red Letter Day reprint set. Next up, I have a Conquerosaur Ultra. Conquerosaur Ultra has the ability that says, as long as this card's in your small group, any Hope return cost on an Animo in your small group may be treated as Hope cost instead. This is so I will be able to remove that cost so I don't have to actually lose my power cards when I activate Flamingro. Plus, Conquerosaur Ultra is a pretty big boy himself with a 13 VP. Next, moving on to our Faith Animo. We have 2 Hoofit level 1s, who has the ability that says if this card's in your hand, you may choose to discard it. If you do, shuffle any 3 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. Then, we have 2 Mayseal. Mayseal has the action that says you may return a story card from your discard pile back to your hand. This way we can continuously recycle Peter's Vision, or, Giant Killer. However, it costs 1 discard cost, but we can convert that to a normal Faith cost so we don't have to discard our power. Next up, we have Sparkcube level 1 from Cross Trainer. Sparkcube level 1 is a 1 for 3, but has a Hope Fellowship bonus, which makes them a 1 for 5. We can grow this Sparkcube into Sparkcube level 2. This is the full art from the Red Letter Day reprint set. It is a 1 for 7, but you have to discard it. However, if you activate with a Hope Animo, it is a 1 for 10, which is amazing value. Alright, moving on. We have Lumini level 1, who's a 2 for 4. Lumini level 2, which says ability, when this card is played from your hand to grow Lumini level 1, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Discard as many of those cards you desire and return them to the top of your deck in any order. The idea behind Lumini level 2 is we're going to use him to discard power cards. Because Lumini level 3 grabs those standard power cards from your discard pile and places them back into your power pool. So that's our goal with him, is to discard power cards. So that way we can use Lumini level 3. Lumini level 3, I mentioned his action is to select up to 3 standard power cards from your discard pile and place them directly into your power pool. He is a 3 for 13, however, he also is a 3 for 16 if you activate him in the same turn as a Hope Animo. This is also another full art from the Red Letter Day reprint set. Big old boss Lumini, we'll put him over here next to our other dragon. And then finally, we have Hoofit Ultra. Hoofit Ultra has the ability, it says if this card's in your hand, you may choose to discard it. If you do, search your deck for up to 2 Faith Power cards and add them to your power pool. This is a pretty powerful ability because it lets you stack your power cards, so you'll get the 3 that you need to activate Lumini, which is really good. Also, we can activate him discarding Faith Power cards from our discard pile, and Lumini can put them back, which is pretty handy. Alright, and with that, we'll bring this video to a close. This has been our Ezra Faith and Hope deck. In the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating Sinnies.